So,
Me
hello.
too. Well,
Uh, this discussion panel maybe less official than the rest of the presentations, but I think it became a pretty interesting and hot topic. International coopetition. Coopetition, I think most of you know this, like a neologism, new word. Combination of competition and cooperation. How to work together and compete in different projects in the same time. I started promoting this idea already a few years ago. For some time it worked better or worse, but definitely going the right direction. And now I would like to share some of my ideas, how it could work, what we could do. But even more important, I also invited here Thomas Goletz, president of Meet Magento Association, and Vlad from Meet Magento Romania, also to share ideas and some experiences from international cooperation, how we can find to work together to get better projects, better clients, but also provide better service with a more popular and more important cross-border trade. It's almost impossible to serve to provide good service for such client working from only one country. Of course, it is possible for huge international agencies, but especially in our Magento industry community, there are a lot of much smaller companies providing high quality services that usually have to work for other big companies because they are too small to handle really big, complex corporate international projects. So that's the general overview. How it started with Snowdog and my idea for that. When we started working with Magento, there was not too much information around. It was beginning of Magento worldwide in 2009. So the only source of information was outside of Poland, and very soon it appeared that it's hard to find information and the best source of knowledge without knowing real people. So one of the most important decisions in our growth and in our experience in Magento was to go to international Magento conference to imagine commerce in Los Angeles at that time. It was, I think, in LA. It was 7 years ago, so long time ago. And at that time, I had no clue how Magento can become so popular, and is it really that big, that good system or not? But that was the first choice, and we already had 3 clients using Magento, so it was like obvious choice. Yeah, I should go there and try to find some partners who can provide better experience and knowledge. And it was actually the best decision I made, I think, in the whole career, because this first visit at Magento Imagine was great. I met great people running companies around the world, literally in so many different countries. It's really hard to remember, but even in that early stage, Magento was already popular around the world. So that's how it started. And when I first time heard the word coopetition, that it's possible to work together in so similar, offering the very similar services in the same time. It was hard to understand how it can work, but it actually worked from the very beginning. From the very beginning of international Magento projects, we were working in a very transparent way. We were working as an invited partner, So we never had to work providing white label services. And very often we were working for very similar Magento companies. So in theory, we were kind of competition. We were cheaper, we had good quality, so it was a competition. But after some time, it appeared that this competition is not that dangerous. It was working fine. Like, clients were not really willing to go directly to the Magento partner if the other Magento partner was providing some complementary services, marketing, support, anything we can imagine. And that's how it started. And I decided this is the best model, trying to find partners who do something similar, but slightly different, and try to work with big clients working together. So that's how it started for me, and I got to the point when I became a part of Meet Magento Association, which is pretty new organization. Sorry, I was too far. And this brings completely new opportunity. How we can build some international connections. So now I think it's time for Thomas, who can say more about his idea, because I think it's pretty exciting that we are all working with same system with Magento, and now having huge international network of similar companies, we can really try to find similar partners, similar complementary partner that we can try to approach big international projects, and that's like my biggest hope for such organization. Of course, it's only one small part, but definitely that's something that's important for me. Thomas, so maybe something how you think association can help growing something what I started a few years ago. How can I find other partners and continue my competition projects with new high-quality partners?
Okay, what I see is that this word competition sounds always quite nice. But we have in our industry, we have a very special situation, because most of the agencies have currently very good business. And also during the last 4 or 5 years, e-commerce is booming, there are a lot of projects outside, customers are willing to pay for that. So in such a market, it's always very easy to talk about cooperation or about competition just to be in. And I'm not sure what will happen if we will get a crisis here and business is not so easy anymore as it is today to go forward. That said, if we look to Meet Magento Association and what we want to do here is, then we need this kind of competition at different levels. And the first thing is really to prepare a market. So one company is not able to prepare a market, to develop the market. And what we are doing here at such a conference is to structure, to prepare the market in Poland for e-commerce, but also for Magento. So we meet here service providers, we meet agencies, we have outside all these companies like PayPal who want to sell their service to clients, to merchants. So at the end, we have here companies who are in a special way competing. But at the same time, they are investing their money, they are investing their time to be here, to prepare the market for all of us. And this is, for me, the first example of competition. But this is a local market. We are talking now about Poland or Germany or Brazil, where we all have this kind of Meet Magentos. And the next step is now to understand, okay, is this market big enough for all of the companies? What can we do? And e-commerce is per se international business. We can do cross-border business. And so at the end, if we want to go outside, if you want to go outside to other markets to grow, you need partners. You are not able from Poland to say, okay, I know how the market will work in Brazil, how will the market work in Romania. So you need this kind of experience, this kind of knowledge, and you can get this only by finding the right partner outside. And here you have the same question again. Are these competitors? Do you have to partner with competitors? And of course they are competitors, because they have the same product, they have the same service, they have maybe the same price model, the same cost structure, so you are competing. And, but you can only win if you find a cooperation towards the client to do that. And the Meet Magento Association is a network where all members can find their partners in the same business with the same purpose. And so it's just to be together and to meet.
Yeah, so I agree with Kuba and I agree with Thomas. And what I would like to add is that even thinking about the local structure in Romania, there's a very big competition over projects, but even more over the human resource. And what we learned over the last years is that you are losing employees or losing contracts to your competitors, not because they're doing such a better job than you are, but because you are not doing a good enough job. So with that in mind, when we organized Meet Magento last year for the first time in Romania, we wanted to open it up to the entire community. And we were afraid that others will think also in this old-minded competition style, but they didn't think like that. And we had a huge community support, and I'm seeing the same thing here in Poland and same thing in Germany. So I'm very happy to see that even at the local level, where the competition is even higher, people are coming together, contributing, presenting on stage, sharing their knowledge, participating in hackathon and dev tracks. And I think this ecosystem that we have here is something that definitely can work toward cooperation more than competition.
I have to add here one point. We had 10 years ago, we had the Meet Magento in Greece. And I don't want to use the word disaster, but it was only 42 people. We expected around 200 attendees, and we got at least 50 sold tickets and 42 people attending the conference. And what became very clear was that we didn't solve the situation of competition in this market. One organizer, so the organizer was one agency, and they were not able to convince the other agencies to come. They felt, okay, this is a kind of activity for my competitor, and I have to compete, I have to hurt him. And so they heard it at the end, the Meet Magento conference. And it was for me a real learning to see that, and that we have also to work as Meet Magento Association to make clear inside the market, inside the country, it's not about a very tough competition. It's just being together to develop your own market. And you can do this only together.
Okay, so what do you think from your experience, because you're organizing Meet Magento for a longer time, and Meet Magento Germany is the first one, and still I think the main Meet Magento event. What do you think about this kind of working together, competing, cooperating on German market? Because this is definitely German market is the one of the most mature e-commerce markets. And actually, I don't know German market. We don't work. We don't offer services there. But I'm really curious if this interest in coopetition is more popular in markets like Poland or other newer markets, or maybe in Germany it's also something that's working well. You have some experiences with that?
I would say it's a yes and a no. We have in Germany some very huge agencies and system integrators working already on international projects, and we don't see here any kind of cooperation, you can say, in this meaning of competition. We have a very strong, sometimes you can say partnership and cooperation at developer level, We see that also developers between those companies are working together, sharing ideas, sharing knowledge. But you don't see that big agencies or big system integrators will go together in one project to realize that. If we look to the other side of the market, this means if you look to smaller the smaller agencies or companies who are doing software, then we see that. What we see is that they are really working together for one project, just to realize a special solution, just to bundle resources together to be successful in the German market. And we see this also on international level. So people go outside, companies go outside and build up a network. One example is to go, for example, to France, to go to UK, and just to have a local presence in this market and to have the partner to deliver the solution in the French version. On the other side, you deliver the version for the German market. So this already exists, but it's based on projects. It's not a general kind of cooperation or structure where you work for the next 2 or 3 years in this in such a kind of very close network.
Okay. Also, if you have anything you want to share, like questions, feedback, your experience with this kind of cooperation, you can just join discussion anytime. It's not something that we have to wait till end. So if you have any questions, just ask them. So this is I also trying to think about the U.S. market, which is the biggest e-commerce market, and from what I see, that there is a lot of competition there. That companies are not really afraid of working together, because usually the relationship between client and lead company is stronger than the need for, I don't know, finding other cheaper different resources. So I'm wondering if it's really a difference in a business approach, or in between Europe, Germany, US market, or this is like a different stage of service providers. What do you think? It's like if it's like in Germany, you think it will change and more smaller companies will try to work together to cooperate with smaller competition to compete with the big players, or you think that it's rather hard and these big players will keep growing and rather there is no way small groups of high quality service providers can compete with this big agencies?
It depends. It really depends. When we talk about Magento, then we talk about 2 different versions. We are talking about the enterprise market, where the enterprise licenses will be sold, and we are talking about the community edition. And also based on the Magento partner program, you need to sell a huge amount of licenses every year. And so this will be done usually by the big companies, by the big agencies. And a small agency has really to fight hard to stay for 2 or 3 years at a gold status inside the Magento partner program. And so at the end, most of them are doing community edition business. But you can see this also in Poland, it's the same. And so it depends really which kind of clients do you have, how big you are. And if you are a huge company, a huge system integrator, they don't have so much interest to cooperate. Even they see the market as a kind of in a very competitive way, just to win against all the others to become the biggest one. And you see this also in US. And if you see how American companies are now going to Europe, just trying to buy small agencies to be placed in different countries. This is not a way of competition. It's also not a way of cooperation. It's just expanding in different markets in a very competitive way. And so the point is, what can you do as Snowdog, or what can another small agency do? because you will face the situation that we will have big system integrators with offices, with resources in many different countries, which are able to do international projects from one hand. And in this area, you will be not able to compete. Even if you go outside and say, okay, I have 10 partners in 10 different countries, then you have only 10 partners. It's not one company. And we will see, and if you look back to maybe 10, 15 years, we had the same situation in the ERP industry. We had in the ERP business in the 90s, there were so many small companies outside doing their own ERP system. And today, the landscape is totally different compared with that what we had in the 90s. And we will have the same development also in the e-commerce market, also in the Magento market, I expect that. And so if you want to survive in 5 or 6 years, you have to be good. This means you need really product skills or development skills, service skills, and you need partners in other countries. And you have to be very close to them.
I'm not sure if I agree that what we see now with, of course, big companies from US, Germany, from all like a little bit richer markets, they are trying to overtake other small companies and markets. And okay, that's reality. But in the same time, I think it's a little bit something that's left over from the old way of closed source software, where it was really important and one company has all different patents and the only knowledge for one system, and they are just taking other small companies because they are the biggest, they are the only one who can do it. But now, like open source in enterprise market is pretty new. It's something that's only a few years on the market. And it's becoming extremely popular. Like a few years ago, no one from big companies like Mars, Nestle, Procter & Gamble, all these big international players would even think about using open source. And now they are all somewhere there in the universe of Magento thinking how to use open source. And my idea is that, okay, we see this strong competition, but it is changing because it was much easier when you have one software, one knowledge, and then you are just keep growing. But right now, there is so very often the small company can provide really very similar level with open source because they have all the same tools, same knowledge. Sometimes, like there is no way to grow the project team to the, I don't know, some really high level. There's some limit how you can grow the teams for the project, and that may be the reason that small companies working together can slowly become a competition for these big players, because these big players will not be like the only choice anymore. If there are so many skilled companies knowing the same tools and systems. The only problem is that with small companies, it's impossible to have like a safety and stability when doing the project. So now coming back to idea of this kind of clusters, groups of companies, and so my idea is that what we see now is just a dying process. That these big companies will be hard to grow anymore because they may be too slow to move, to make a pivot, to change direction. When small companies can react in a fast way and working with few small companies doing similar things but different way and having a lot of different skills may be a huge benefit here. That's my point of view.
Well, what I saw with the US clients is that if they're going, especially if they're going for enterprise, they're going for a local partner, and that partner is a gold or silver member. And I know that us smaller agencies can do that work because we are doing it with working with the big companies. We're just not sharing the glory with them. So basically they have the client, they are working with us because of our technical knowledge, and we are resolving the hard problems, but in the end it's their client, it's their enterprise license, and they are getting all the glory for that. So I'm very excited to hear something about smaller agencies working together and truly being presented as a unified front in front of the client and taking the project together. But right now what I'm seeing is that maybe those big clients you mentioned, like Nestle or Mars, will be interested in going for a single entity because this is how the market is set up with a partnership program, and they are recommended as a solution partner. And maybe also they might fear that the group of smaller agencies, even though they are more agile and can be faster, might not work as well together as the big players do. Even if that's not entirely true, because the big players are also using other companies to resolve their problems. So what are your thoughts on that?
Exactly. So you said that it's not always true. So we know that these companies will also sooner or later realize it, because it's a different mindset. They are still in the closed source software way of thinking. But if they switch completely to open source, do you think they will still keep thinking about this way? Because if they finally will be using open source for some time, they will understand better. There is a different approach to everything in working with software. Do you think they will still prefer like one huge partner instead of some partners for specific tasks, for organizing everything, getting more partners for different markets?
Well, I don't know. Until now, apparently, they are still thinking in that closed source system, so they haven't switched over to this. But maybe through what we're doing with through open source, with contributing on Git, with nice projects that we're doing on our own, it's possible that we might grow to a level where we are credible enough in front of such a client to earn that account and win in front of the big players. Maybe the Meet Magento Association can help with that.
I have to say I'm skeptical about it. And we are talking here about the approach, how you go to a client and why a client will buy, why the customer will buy. And at the end, he wants to have a solution. He wants to have a software, and he wants to be safe, and he doesn't want to pay too much. And if we are approaching the client with that, what you told now as open source model, this means with a free software and with different partners doing specific tasks, then we have to prove that such a conception can work. And I don't see today that there are a lot of people outside or companies outside doing this kind of approach. And in all the meetings or in all the encounters we have with customers, I don't see that. And if we want to do that, then we have to make this happen. So we have to try that. We have to say, okay, we have here 4 or 5 partners maybe from different countries, and to make that very transparent to the client. And he has then to decide by himself, okay, I know that, I want to have that. And so at the end you are talking about changing a mindset. And this of course can be only done by coopetition, but it's a long way to go. Okay.
Any feedback from you? Any thoughts on this? What do you think about this process? If it is rather a growing importance of competition and bigger problem for big agencies, or rather competition is still a toy for smaller companies that's not really able to become a threat for big agencies? Any thoughts? Because it's really interesting. I'm a big fan of this idea.
I don't want to kill your idea, Kuba.
Yeah.
No, this is not the idea.
It's not easy. It's not. You already know that it's not easy to kill my ideas. I just I like with new projects. I see more and more interest, even in big companies, directly asking for possibility of working with other companies, because this approach creates some kind of a cloud approach, that you have one partner, but if you know that this partner is really willing to work with other similar partners, it's really easy to scale. You don't have to worry that your partner is promising you or the other client a lot. You have one partner that can handle very special part of the project, and at the same time, when there is a need for that, it's easier to scale it, because you can invite more partners to work together on such project. So at least I see more interest in this approach from real clients. They're asking for that. They want to have this safety, but in the same time they choose open source also for some special reason, because the Magento is great, of course, but it's not solving every problem around the world. So there are different systems that may solve some of these problems better. So clients, and even big clients, they choose open source for some special reason. And one of the reasons is that it's open source. Almost anybody can join the project and work together. So this is already a sign of changing approach. And the second sign is that clients are asking, if you see no problems working with other agencies on the project, so every agency is responsible for some special part. Maybe it's yes. Yeah, it's fine here. I'm not sure if it's also okay in the back.
Okay, can everybody hear me now?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
All right, so would you mind if I repeat myself? All right, what I want to say is, from the client's point of view, they sometimes think that they only can go with the bigger agency, not the smaller one, because the bigger agency has much bigger responsibilities than the smaller one. There are penalties in the contracts for being delayed or missing the deadlines. So the coopetition is great, but sometimes we have to look from the client's point of view why they only go with bigger agencies.
Yes, this is exactly the market. This is what the customer wants, and you can talk about, or you can think about competition, but if the market, if the customer doesn't see that, it doesn't help you at the end. And but as you said now, with Magento 2, you have a perfect topic, because you can do, of course, competition at a special level. You can talk with employees, developers together, just to develop the knowledge, the know-how together. And you have, in this area, competition. And, but at the same time, I'm very sure it will be very hard to win customer projects if you're going outside with 5, 6 small companies. If the main company, for example, is not able to have enough financial power to stand for the project. And maybe that's something where we can work at the Meet Magento Association, just to have a platform where companies can meet, where companies can build up a network for a project. We had 20 years ago, there was a conception was called virtual enterprise. Maybe you know all of that. And we were talking about how to organize small tool manufacturer together to make a big project to deliver things. So it's not so new, this kind of conceptions. But I don't see them, really.
Because yeah, when I'm talking about competition, it's not only unofficial competition. When coming to the big projects, I'm also thinking about really making this competition more formal, like just for a project, building a consortium of some different companies. So this financial responsibility is provided. It's just a matter of thinking about it, if it's possible, if we can work together on such projects. Because at least in Poland, it's becoming popular. More and more companies, even I don't know if we have Orba, Bolt, Divante here. No, different presentation. They are trying to promote it, working together with at least bigger clients in Poland. So maybe I don't know. I would be happy to see that at least for Polish market, it's something that we can see that works. Because for me, it just opens great opportunities for really high-skilled companies that they don't have huge sales or marketing divisions, but in the same time, they can provide the same high-quality service. And I would compare it a little bit to the process that big companies that have like so many different sections of doing different things within company, they are trying to separate more to encourage them to work as a separate micro companies, because they all work for their specific goals. They want to achieve the goals, and in the same time they cooperate with other sections within company. So I don't know, I'm still very positive and enthusiastic about it, and I will definitely keep trying. Hopefully next year or on another Meet Magento somewhere, we can still continue this discussion and have more real life statistics, informations, successful stories about that, about such examples of competition for big brands.
Okay, what I see is also in the German market, but in most of the other markets, another way of cooperation between competitors. And Magento makes this for us very easy, because you can use special modules you have. You can use special solutions you have, and you can ask your competitor or the other company also to use it. So for example, you as Snowdog could use special modules for logistics or for checkout, whatever else developed by your competitor or by a German company, just to use it inside your project. There's also a kind of competition, which makes your life easier, which helps you to be much faster to the market, to finish the project finally, and also you don't have to spend the money to develop that, so resources, but you can ask the customer to pay that. And so this is for me a kind of competition under the hood. So the customer doesn't have to see that, but you organize your company in that way.
Okay, because like definitely Magento is very special. I don't know if there's any comparable open source system with such a community of companies, developers, freelancers. Some people can compare can say that WordPress has a great online community, but there is a huge difference. Magento was invented to be a tool for earning money. WordPress is in most cases is a blogging platform. Of course, right now it's much more, but Magento is designed to bring money. So it's about more serious business just by design. And that's how I think that working with Magento is very special. At least I don't see anything that is similar, any system that provides such a great opportunity to work together from different companies on big projects. Because Magento is intended for big projects.
I think one of the first places where we see an actual cooperation is where we are looking at different skill sets. So extensions is a very good example where you are reusing code that someone else made. Design is another popular example where a company does the design and another company does the technical execution on that design. We see a lot of cooperation in hosting, so there are plenty of hosts specialized on Magento. We see that also in marketing, in email. We saw a presentation yesterday about that. So this is the first place where I see a real cooperation And I can tell you that most of the people we are working together in this way are people that we met at Meet Magento conferences. So this is the first place where we see the cooperation. It will be interesting to see if we can maybe also work together on bigger projects where 2 or more partners, smaller partners, can share the workload that would normally be handled by a single client. But as Thomas said as well, it's quite hard to present credibility in front of the client, and it's still a new concept. But there were plenty of new concepts that didn't look that like they would work and did in the end. So I'm a fan of this idea, and I would love to try such a project. We just need to see if we can find the first good examples of such a cooperation.
Okay. For me, it's I'm also I don't know effects of our experiment with introducing other Meet Magento organizers on the stage. I'm really wondering how it worked. That's also a question to all of you, because they will definitely will ask this question after conference. If you think that it's valuable for Meet Magento conference series around the world to have like representatives of other countries on every conference, because like my idea is that it's something very unique, that on every conference we can talk to representatives of different countries, different Meet Magento organizers, who can also be a source of valuable information about potential partners, other companies. Yeah, so that's if you think that it's valuable, I will be really happy from your feedback now or later in the poll, if it works. If you really think that it's important for growing business to have people organizing such events, that having access to different partners around the world, because this is something what association is now about connecting so many different countries all together around Magento and helping to work together. I think that's mostly it about our discussion. You know my vision, that it can be really an opportunity. I think Thomas and Vlad are a little bit more skeptical. Yeah, so Vlad is somewhere between, and we'll see which way it will go. Maybe, as I said, maybe we'll organize another panel next year, and try to check what changed during the year, and I keep my fingers crossed that it will follow the way I see. But yeah, the time will show. So I think that's it for this session. If you have now any questions, feedback, feel free to ask. Of course, if not, we are still here. Right now, for this track, we have a break. We just wait for the end of workshops, and we'll have a closing session here for all of attendees. So now it's time for coffee, networking, some further business relationship, whatever. Yes?
Thank you. What would you say about a model where you have this sort of black box experience for the end client, when the end client hires an agency which acts as a proxy to other companies, one doing analytics, development, hosting, and so on, without doing everything in-house, as I imagine the big agencies work, sometimes offloading some extra tasks outside. Would you think someone would be willing to do business in such a way? Is it a possibility for Magento ecosystem?
I believe that we need that, and it is important to come to this point. we have so many projects outside. Maybe you have heard about the digital nomads, where people have a special lifestyle to be freelancer, just to be on different places to work. So it is not important anymore to have your workplace. You can move your workplace where you want to be and just to work by the internet. And if you want to organize all those resources, you need exactly what you have described now. And there are a couple of approaches, there are a couple of concepts to do that, but I don't have seen this so far in the Magento world. And this will be a topic for next year, also for Meet Magento in general. We will focus on two new topics. The first one is human resources, and human resources is exactly about that, to bring people together to understand how can I manage resources towards the client, but also in a group of companies together. And the other topic will be international business, just to help the people to connect much easier via Meet Magento all over the world.
Yes, thank you. But the question is not really about this sort of self-employment, or it does not relate to specific persons, but rather to whole companies, whole teams. I think it would be an interesting possibility. Yeah.
So if I understand correctly, you ask about the model where there is again one company and the rest is a little bit in the shade, and a transparent model when all companies are parallel and working at the same time. This, if I understand correctly, or
yes, this sort of proxy model when the end client does not really care who does the work. The end client just needs a shop, platform, software, whatever. And the proxy, this agency, does all the management of some other entities which work together on the project.
So that's more an old style model, and the approach that I'm pushing forward is more some kind of combination. That it's again, there is one company, but it's not a proxy anymore. It's not just passing information somewhere. It's just a lead agency that's managing the other transparent parts of this group. So of course, like in every team, in every cooperation, there is a need for a leader. Without a leader, it will be just a chaos. So coopetition doesn't mean, at least how I understand it, that everyone has to be equal. It's not like that. Always there is a leading part of the group. The key difference is that this leading party is not trying to overtake everything and become the only one. And in this scenario with proxy, it's like typical big agency approach. That there is one agency, and this agency usually hires like hundreds of other specialist agencies, whatever, but it's not transparent. So that's why I think that open source approach is changing this way of working, because with transparent approach, you can exchange some parties of the group when needed. Sometimes it happens. Something can happen to one link, and it's still transparent. It's better for work with I don't know, with client who really knows how to get best result. Because I think that in this approach it's easier to get shorter time to market for any project. So I think that this migration from this proxy to leading party is now kind of a growing trend, I hope. So I don't know if it answers the question. If it's like I just see it this way, that this proxy thing, it works everywhere, but it's definitely not the way I like. I like it transparent. Like I don't even in many projects I don't feel confident. I don't want to be a lead party, but we know that we can provide some valuable things to the project, and we know that there are that's a specific of the market. There are so many projects around that it's much better to focus very well on this part and maybe take lead in different project and higher, even higher. Work with partners from the first project on different level. So that's the conclusion from I think my point of in this discussion. Okay. Anyone else? No questions? Okay. So thank you very much, and see you later in this room for closing of the conference. Thank you. Thank you, Thomas. Thank you, Vlad.